good heavens, and welcome to Phonyville. We remember it so you don't have to.
That's not it. It's the wrong show and you stole that.
You can remember it too. I changed it. We've got a great show coming up, totally packed with news, discussions, your very own communiques, and various other podcasting cliches.
Welcome to Trainwreck. Let's get started.
So first we got some news. I don't know if you've heard of it, but there's this thing called Ebola, which people are eballing their eyes out. Eyeball? Okay, you know what? So anyway, I got the news through the grapevine that there's been a scare because apparently some poor trucker had it in Dallas or somewhere in Texas. Anyway, people are concerned and a little perturbed and slightly aghast at the thought that it might have invaded SandyCon, also known as Nightmare Nights, Dallas. Chef Sandy, I believe it may have been somebody else. We pretty much make up the news as we go along, who remarked that there's really no cause for worry as the only zombie in sight is safely contained. At least that's what I've heard.
First, do you know someone with Ebola? If you don't, you're not going to get Ebola. Have you touched blood or feces from someone who had Ebola?
Oh my gosh.
No? Then you don't have Ebola. Problem solved. There was one person in Dallas. I don't even know how he got it. That's it. That's literally it. There's been a 0.0004% of the countries in Africa that had Ebola of people who actually had Ebola. That's tiny. This isn't a huge outbreak.
But you know what is a huge outbreak? The outbreak of news that Discovery Family will be replacing the Hub. Now, this is no cause for alarm, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls and ponies and fillies and colts and gentle things of all ages. Basically, all this means is that the Hub is getting a new name and maybe somebody else is taking it over like the Evil Lord business or some other tycoon. Really, there aren't going to be that many changes. They're still going to be playing ponies. They're still going to be doing things. They're not going to be playing the Dan Versus series. I was a little bummed about that, even though I never watched it, but it sounded cool.
I was going to say, I've never heard of it.
Yeah, Dan Versus is a show that's on the Hub.
Okay. I'll have to look it up.
Yep.
But hey, it's the 4th year anniversary of My Little Pony.
Of My Little Pony?
Yes.
Is that today?
I have no idea. It could be. It might be. Actually, I think it is today because Equestria Daily is holding a 36-hour long streaming session.
That's a day and a half, boys and girls.
Thank you. Of nothing but. I think they're doing episodes. I don't know what they're doing. I'd have to look it up, and I have no internet.
Because they have the rights to all those episodes, naturally.
Yes.
Yeah.
To commemorate it, starting today. However, we're probably not going to get this released today, so
No.
It's going to be old news.
Old news isn't news, it's just olds. Okay, moving on. We've got some music to talk about. Treble, what have you been listening to in music?
First of all, I was talking with DJ a little bit ago, and he's never heard of Feather.
Hey, I heard
vocals?
of Feather.
Okay.
I just hadn't looked her up before.
Anywho, she's... I guess you'd call her Pegasister.
No, you
No?
call her a brony if
Brony?
you don't want to get your head snapped off.
Really?
I've learned that.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, anywho, she's the brony equivalent of Pitbull with talent. She's featured in everything. Like,
You know, that's a very, very astute observation. I was gonna say equivalent of Lil Wayne, but that's just rap. Pitbull is in everything. Yeah, and Feather apparently is in everything, which is strange that I've actually never heard or stuff before. But wow, such talent, very pony things. Wow.
Doge.
I would pronounce that Doge, but that's just me.
It's Doge.
Okay.
Believe you me, it's Doge.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that's been the extent of what I've been listening to.
What have I been listening to? I've been listening to my go-to, The Dumplings, Pipsqueak, Daniel Rustage. I don't think that's how you actually pronounce his name. Anyway, he's this little British kid with a lot of British talent and just general talent. What does he do? He's a rapper. He's a singer. Auto-tune. He's a writer of things. I heard he plays the ukulele. No, I heard him play the ukulele in his stand-up comedy set. I wasn't at Buck. Gosh, I wish I could have gone, but no, I was stuck here on the moon, which is obviously where I live. But yeah, I've been listening to his album. I think it's his newest album, Unlinked, by Rustage. I'm not really sure if I'm supposed to pronounce the colon or not, but that's how it's spelled. I think I might just start calling him the artist formerly known as Pipsqueak.
Sure, why not? Anywho,
Prince Squeak.
Anywho, we should have more of that stuff coming up in later
More
episodes.
music, more things.
On to fanfiction.
On to fanfiction.
This includes any that you've read recently or any that you've made recently.
Oh, ye gods. I hope we're not talking about fanfictions that we've made recently, because all of mine are terrible. Most fanfiction is terrible. Let's talk about the good ones. What have I been reading? I've been reading The Temporal Manipulations of a Victorious Timekeeper by Rodinga, I believe. Oh, wow. Such talent. Very writer. Yeah, it's basically, think Dr. Hooves, although I think he goes by the name Time Turner, gifted with the ability to turn time back 34 or 45, some amount of seconds. That's less than a minute, and it's fascinating, riveting tale. Rosie, the Riveter, could not do a better job of riveting because she wasn't into ponies. I've heard. Treble, what have you been reading recently? It's recently.
Okay. I've been doing nothing but Tavi Scratch for the past 2 weeks.
I noticed that from all those links you keep sending me.
Wait, I'm sending them to you?
Yeah. You know that little button that says post on Facebook? That you've been hitting it?
Well, I have a few things to explain. First of all, the definition of clone. I'm sorry, I won't ever pull one of those again.
Thank you. Don't explain that.
I won't. Anywho, like University Days.
Such a good fic. I remember reading that back when it was still being written, and I think pretty much every single chapter, some dude with a keyboard would write another original song about the fic.
Actually,
and
that's
I remember
true.
being bad at music in those days and really wanting to write a song, but not doing so because I didn't want to be embarrassing to myself, I guess. Not sure what the reasoning was there. But, yeah, times, they are a-changin'. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I was going to say
go ahead.
the latest fic that I read that wasn't Tavi Scratch was Project Sunflower.
Oh, Project Sunflower.
Hoopy McGee.
Hoopy McGee. Oh, one of the first writers that I ever read when I started reading fanfic. I'm glad I started reading his stories because there's so much crummy fic out there. I'm just glad I landed on one of the good ones. I remember starting with his story, Why Am I Pinkie Pie? Which was a roller coaster from start to finish. I believe I suggested that one to you first, didn't I?
Yeah, I read that a bit ago. It was interesting, to say the least.
A roller coaster ride.
From start to finish.
So, I guess those are the main things we've been reading recently.
Actually, that was the first fic that I read, which I realized Pinkie could break the fourth wall.
You didn't know that before?
No, I didn't know that before.
You don't remember the episode where she reaches out of the screen at the end and keeps the episode from ending for a few seconds? Have you been skipping the credits?
I have been skipping the credits.
Don't skip the credits.
Well, okay, I don't have, Netflix or anything.
You watch Marvel movies. You know this.
What?
Don't skip the credits.
But that was Marvel, and that's in movies. You don't expect to stay to the end of the credits for a TV show.
Marvel. Deal with it.
Okay. Sure. So, yeah, I had no idea that was a thing.
Mm-hmm. But now that you know it's a thing, your life is infinitely better, am I correct?
Yes. Definitely.
Yeah. So we're going to do a little segment here called Interviews. That's not what it's called. It's just
called Interview.
Yeah, that's what I wrote.
That's
what I wrote in the doc. Now, most weeks we'll have a guest with interesting things to talk about. This week, we thought we'd introduce ourselves, or rather introduce each other to you, because you don't know who the hey we are.
We didn't even introduce ourselves at the beginning, did we?
No, we didn't. They're just listening because our riveting storylines and our ability to what is it? Talk. Our ability to communicate with eloquence.
I feel like this is kind of pointless, though, introducing ourselves so far in, because if you're actually this far in, that means you're either A, our mother, or B, someone who has no life with infinite amount of time.
So our mother.
Yes.
I'm just kidding, Mother. I'm kidding. Well... Okay, moving on. So we're going to ask you guys a few questions. Now, we didn't write down any questions, so this is just off the cuff.
Okay, so...
Oh, you're going to start?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
What is your full name?
What is my full name? My full name is Donald Julian. Go by Don. Don Jewel. That's how you catch me most of the time. Spelled a little differently. Donald Julian Day. That's my name. Don't wear it out. Usually go by DJ. DJ LukkiDay. Mostly DJ.
Okay, and so, when did you first start the show?
When did I first start watching the show, or when did I hear about the show? Oh, you lords. I suppose it would have been back in late 2011. Is that when season 2 was first starting? I know I started right up at the beginning of season 2. Our friend, you know him, Slipper Putty, was into the show. He was watching PMVs. He's into YTP. So he liked watching the edited clips, getting up on Reddit, seeing what was going on, and confound these ponies. They drove him to watching the show, I guess. He communicated that to me by way of communication, and I started watching the show, and I was pretty much an instant brony. Pretty much instantly hooked. The first episode that I ever watched was Bridal Gossip, which is, of course, the Zakora episode, which will take a load off your mind. If we could rewind, we would go back and see it. It'd be so fun just to be it and free.
You could have rhymed rewind with time, which would have fit absolutely perfectly.
I don't think rewind actually rhymes with time.
Yes. Well, in the way that you said rewind, it was going to rhyme with time.
I said rewime. That's what I said?
I think you did, maybe.
It's
called a near rhyme.
I think it's called a slant rhyme.
Zakora's pulled near rhymes a couple of times, so...
That's true. I will never forget the time when she said, "More growth will certainly occur. Spike will turn into a monster." A monster, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, let that sink in.
Is it built into Zakora's language to rhyme, or is it just kind of a cultural thing where they just kind of do it because they can? Because I was reading something a while back where Zakora didn't rhyme one line and people were wondering why she didn't. But it was fanfic, I think. And so it got me interested whether or not it's possible for her not to rhyme. Or
here's what I think. I think Zakora is showing off. Do you really think it's going to be not possible for her to speak without rhyming? I don't think that's plausible. I think that, if we're going with fan theories here, I agree with those who would say that Zakora's native language is just naturally so musical that she wants to capture kind of the essence of that by rhyming everything she says in equestrian. Or English, whatever it is she's speaking. But,
it's equestrian.
Yeah, equestrian. She's speaking basic. Basic.
The writers have a TARDIS translation matrix, so it doesn't matter what language they speak. Because honestly, would Equestria speak English? No, they wouldn't.
Yeah, if you look at what they write, it's like almost English. It's kind of close. Kind of. Is that?
It's basically English if you tried to write an English word with a hoof. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very good point.
But then again, that doesn't. Why does Twilight and Spike have that bad of writing? Because they have magic and claw.
You know, that's also a really good point.
But then again, it would come from a cultural thing because most people would write with their hooves or their mouth. So therefore, if they were in fact writing English, it would be distorted like that from the get-go. So therefore, it would be the how they would write. Instead of our alphabet, they would write their alphabet because that's how they would write our alphabet. Okay, that was terrible.
In the beginning, there was Faust. No, I think you've got a point.
Anywho, we deviated a lot.
I think they know who I am by now.
Well, I was going to do 2 more questions.
Oh, go ahead. Okay.
Favorite pony?
My favorite pony. Are we talking favorite main 6 or favorite pony?
You know what? Let's do that. Favorite main 6.
I'm talking about favorite main 6. Okay, favorite main 6 has been Rainbow Dash. Always. Always from the very first episode that I saw. Rainbow Dash. I really like her mane.
Okay. And then, that was a very weird way to end a sentence.
No, it wasn't. It was a Sweetie Belle way to end the sentence.
Okay, that is true, but you went up like you're asking a question. when in fact you're the one we're coming to for answers.
Do I like her main?
And the second question is favorite non-main 6.
Favorite non-main 6. Okay. My favorite non-main 6 pony, definitely Vinyl Scratch, which I know fits in with your OTPs so very well. But yeah, Vinyl Scratch, DJ Pone E. I think it should be pronounced Pone E. I'm not the authority on that by any means, but it just makes more sense. You don't go around talking about Deadmau 5.
Well, I would say DJ Pone E rather than Pony, because if you said DJ Pony, it just sounds like Y. But if you had the kind of pause, there's DJ Pone E.
Yeah, I think Pone E.
Or emphasis, I should say, on the E.
Rather than Pone 3.
Or the 3, actually.
Emphasis on the 3. There's an accent over the 3. It's a capital 3.
So that concludes my questions.
Okay. Well, you know what? Since this is Phonyville, I'm going to do something they used to do on Bronyville, which apparently they haven't done for quite a while. Yeah, they used to ask 4 questions. Now they kind of cheat and ask 2. But you know what? I'd like to bring back the 4 questions. So if they don't mind, Chief, Sandy, and Ample Cider, I think that I will just go ahead and ask their 4 questions. So, what is your favorite character?
Favorite character of all time?
Yeah, main 6 or non-main 6?
Probably Luna.
Luna?
Yeah.
Explain.
Well, I had no idea she existed until I actually started watching the show. Like, I mean, I knew the main 6,
yeah.
Celestia, and then Nightmare Moon came out. Okay, first, stop. Nightmare Moon. Horrible name. No. Nightmare. The name should be Nightmare because she's in fact the mare of the night. And she instills nightmare. Adding moon to it is redundant. It's repetitive.
I was gonna go with retarded, actually. But you know what? Dang it, Moon! Yeah. No, I get what you're saying.
It would actually be Moon Horse Moon.
How about Loon Moon? Loon Moon?
It's a royal pet, is Loon Moon.
People on Brony meme sites get on that. Loon Moon.
Actually, I think if she did have a pet, it would be a wolf.
Yeah.
So, when she first came down, I was like, oh, this is an interesting character. And then they hit her with a rainbow, and it was like, oh, you're a different character.
Damn, they killed it. Yeah.
What?
It's like, oh, it has and it's dead. No, there it is. It's different now. Smaller.
Okay, first of all, if you got hit with a rainbow, I don't think you'd die. Because it's just light refracting.
Well, we're talking about talking horses here. So, it's just...
so, talking horses' weakness is light. That's interesting.
Yeah. You ever get attacked by a talking horse, hit out with a rainbow. Bring your prism. That's all I'm saying. Okay, I got a second question, which of course I'm still swiping from Bronyville, but what is your favorite episode?
Oh, gosh.
There aren't that many.
There's like 87.
There are a lot.
Yeah,
there are very many.
Like, well, 25, 25, 25. And then like 12 or something.
Actually, 26.
Oh, really?
And then 13. You're just subtracting like one. Is that sales tax?
No.
Okay.
That was me rounding.
You're rounding? Okay, favorite episode, go.
I don't know.
Do you have a favorite part from any episode? Do you have a favorite season? Do you watch the show, sir? I guess that's what I'm getting at here.
I don't... Okay. Now, my favorite part from any episode ever is the banter between Pinky and Rainbow. When she's like, you know Fluttershy is in a tree, right? Rainbow's like, yes, I know. It's like, hey, Twilight, did you know Rainbow actually thinks Fluttershy is a tree? Twilight's like, you do realize Fluttershy is in a tree, right? Yes, I know Fluttershy is in a tree. I'd like to be a tree.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a golden moment in the show there.
Well, I think that was the part that actually made me put up with Pinkie Pie.
Put up? Oh, was she
the very first episode I saw was the cheese sandwich. No, the very first episode I saw was A Friend Indeed, or A Friend in Need, something like
Friend
that.
Indeed, I think.
With, the old dude.
Donkey Clint Eastwood.
And what was that? I think the very first seconds of that was the Smile song.
Yeah.
And if you're going to introduce someone to the show, don't have them watch that, because I was really confused.
I liked the song.
But that wasn't the very first episode you saw.
No, it wasn't.
My very first impression of the entire show was Pinky singing the Smile song.
Okay, my very first impression of the show was Pinky singing "She's an evil enchantress that does evil dances."
That song was better than... actually, in my opinion, that song was better than the Smile song.
Okay, because then you had Flutter Guy also singing it.
Okay, first of all, Flutter Guy is... If we're talking about favorite pony of absolute all time, it would be Flutter Guy.
Yeah.
But she... That'd be a he or a she. It's still a she. Okay, it's still a she.
It's a Thailand she. Moving on.
Would be my favorite.
I had another question.
What?
Okay. Why do you love the show so much?
I have no idea.
I stole that from Phonyville.
Because it's... Okay, last night, I was sitting down. I was writing, and I was watching a PMV of, what was it, September, I think?
I don't know. I wasn't in your basement last night. I think.
And then I stopped for a second, and I was like, this is pink, fluffy... Like, what am I doing with my life? Type of moment, which I'm pretty sure every single one of us has had. Yeah. But I couldn't come up with an explanation for why it was such a good show. So I have no idea why.
You have no idea why.
No.
You're just going to let this run your life from now on. No explanation.
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. And one more question. You know what? I'm going to skip the fourth Phonyville question, and instead I'm going to make up my own. Introduce yourself. What are you called?
Me?
No, the other person I'm talking to. You realize it's just two of us in a room, like two
I was
lonely
trying to come
dweebs.
up with what my name was, than my artist name, because you have a name of, what was that? Donald Julian.
Day.
Julian.
It's my name.
There we go. Okay. I don't have one of those. My name is Treblemaker.
Yeah, but I like to call him Treble, because it's shorter, and I am lazy. We got another section here. We're going to move on. Did interview miscellaneous. Okay. I'm going to talk about what we did recently. I don't know what you did recently, Treble, but I went to AwesomeCon Indianapolis. Indianapolis is a boring place, but AwesomeCon was no boring. It was great. No aburrido. No, it was fantastic. Met some great people there. Played some Smash Bros. With some random dudes. Saw some Deadpool.
Did you win?
I won when I played as Pikachu.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. I didn't get my normal characters. It was the old version. I didn't have that. So anyway, yeah, got some great stuff. Bought a Funko mystery, which turned out to be Black Daring Do. Like literally black. Like
Here, for the video.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say hold it up to the microphone. Yeah. Yeah. The video people can see my Daring Do. I also got this custom tiny big Macintosh from Ellis Arts, which was great, adorable. You know what? I'm gonna put a picture of this stuff in the show notes. Got a commission of my pony Sona on a button, cute as a button. It is a button. Yeah. What? Got some other stuff. It was a good time. I went mostly for the vendors. Did see an interesting panel on podcasting, which obviously didn't help at all, as you can hear. Yeah, that's what I did. Have you done anything outside of your basement recently?
No.
No, I didn't think so.
No. Absolutely nothing.
Moving on, we've got missives.
That was a smooth.
Yeah.
That's like...
Ooh, smooth. Smoothie. Yeah, moving on, we've got missives. We got some fan mail this week. Yes. Fishy Pro in Nevada writes, "What are you doing with your lives? You shouldn't be making a podcast. You should be at work or at school, you dweeb." Thank you for that, Fishy. You're absolutely right. Okay. Dr. Huxtable in Colorado writes, "So you're serious about this podcast thing, right? You're actually doing this?"
No, this is totally made up. This is not a podcast at all.
This is fantasy.
This is a music video, can't you tell?
Yeah. Okay, well, Matthew 2 in Arkansas tweets, "I really like your show. I've been listening to it since the very beginning, and I think you guys are great." Yeah, this is the first episode, you liar. I don't even know what else to say to that. Yeah, okay. Well,
Transition.
Well, hey there, listeners. You know you listen to the Phonyville podcast on the podcast network of podcasts. Yeah. Anyway, if you like what you hear, then get in touch. Don't be shy. Our email address is phonyville@gmail.com. Rewind and listen to that again. No need. I'll say it again. Phonyville@gmail.com. Our website is phonyville.blogspot.com. Hit us up. Listen to the episodes. Let them roll over you like a tidal wave of ponies and nice things. Ooh, yeah.
alright, we're about to wrap this up, but before we do that, we've got a section called Straight from the Horse's Mouth. It is our pony-related quote of the week. Treble, I believe you have a word for the congregation.
I think I already used it. The Pinky and RD banter.
That was your quote.
Yes.
Because in the long haul, it's not about rising up to the fame. It's the journey entailed. Remember from where you came. And when you look back, you'll open your eyes and finally know me. 'Cause it doesn't matter no more. We're all just one-trick ponies.
It's a good song.
Let that sink in.
Well, let's make like winter and wrap it up.
And with that, we come to the end of our show.
There's pretty much no place to go but out.
We're closing up here.
Take the door on the left, and you'll find yourself on a beautiful island in the South Pacific whose sole inhabitants are the clones of the great and powerful Trixie.
Take the door on the right, and we'll make it look like an accident.
But it's entirely possible that on the other side of either of these doors is nothing but the void.
Good luck.
Pax Vobiscum?
Do the thing. so much editing to do.